Times are tough for luxury brands in Australia, even Mercedes-Benz. This medium SUV, the GLC 300, is its biggest seller in Australia, but sales have actually dropped almost 20% in the last 12 months, and it's outsold by most of its key rivals. So what's going on? Does the GLC deserve more love? Let's find out.
The second generation Mercedes-Benz GLC 300 was introduced to Australia mid-2023, replacing a vehicle that became the world's top-selling medium-sized luxury SUV. So, big shoes to fill. The new car remained true to the 5-seat concept, and its rivals were the same familiar bunch headed by the Audi Q5 and BMW X3, both of which will soon have new generations in Australia.
Mercedes-Benz has really pared back the GLC lineup with this second generation. There used to be diesels and plug-in hybrids as well as turbo petrol powertrains, but now it's just this model, the GLC 300. Pricing's also shot up. A lot of options have become standard, so you now have to pay more than $100,000 plus on-road costs, which according to the Mercedes-Benz website at about $11,000 at the moment. Now that starting price is a lot higher than what you'll pay for an X3 or a Q5 base model, but this car does have a lot more equipment, and you can bet your bottom dollar the next X3 and Q5 generations that arrive in Australia, the pricing will be going up.
By the way, there are still other GLC models. There's a 5-door coupe body style, also at the 300 level, and both wagon and coupe also come as various hotted up AMGs up to the $200,000 C63. Sadly though, the V8 engine has recently been dropped from that model. The GLC 300 comes with a 5-year unlimited warranty and 12-month and 25,000 kilometre service intervals, so it's going to be 12 months unless you're doing regular interstate journeys. And a service program that comes out at $1,300 for each of the 5 scheduled visits to the dealer, so not cheap. At a quick glance, you might struggle to pick the old and new GLC 300s apart. I mean, the styling intent of this 5-door wagon is clearly the same. This time round it's bigger in most dimensions. Most notably, it is 60mm longer than before at more than 4.7 metres. Key standard features include 20-inch alloy wheels, side steps, various AMG line trimmings, and a giant sunroof.
Like we've already said, Benz has really stripped back the powertrain options for this generation of the GLC. Unless you go AMG, you are going to end up with this 2-litre turbo petrol 4-cylinder engine mated with mild hybrid, a 9-speed auto and all-wheel drive. Consumption and acceleration claims are pretty impressive considering this thing's hauling a 2-tonne wagon. The second generation GLC 300 has undergone a technology revolution. These 2 big screens on the dashboard obviously dominate, but there's lots of computing power backing them up. Yeah, the days of the understated Benz interior have long gone.
But there are still some Benz interior signatures here, like the power seat adjusters on the door. Such a sensible place to have them. Love the way the height adjuster works off both front and back edge of the sports seat. The steering column power adjusts, and here's another Benz signature which is spreading to other brands. The gear selector is mounted on the steering column. There's more AMG line appointments in here too, and Artico trim that looks pretty leather. Moving the gear selector to the steering column helps Benz create a bucket's worth of storage in the centre console. A smartphone charger also hides in here. There's also a lidded bin behind it that creates more storage and hides more USB-Cs. Add in door bins and a generous glove box, and it's easy to store your stuff up front in the GLC 300.
At first glance, this all looks rather complex, doesn't it? The big touchscreen, the configurable dash, the head-up display with multiple views. But it actually turns out to be easier to navigate than you might think at first.
Critical to not going insane in a frenzy of screen jabbing and drilling are the dual zone aircon controls being permanently displayed on the touchscreen. The shortcut button is also very important, taking you straight to functions you might need often, like switching off the lane centering function. It's great to see Benz has put real thought into the interaction between driver and tech and not just slap the screen on the dash and hope for the best.
Not everything is well executed though. Making changes via the haptic buttons on the 6-spoke steering wheel can be a frustratingly inexact experience. Swipe in just the wrong direction and you can find yourself navigating up some instrumentation blind alleys.
The various camera views are a performative feature of the car. You could sit back with some popcorn and just enjoy the show. It's very handy for parking, of course, as this is now a sizable vehicle. A big glasshouse helps visibility for the driver too. The latest GLC 300 comes with a 5-star ANCAP rating based on 2022 protocols. It scored over 90% for both adult and child protection. It also comes with a suite of driver assist systems and no less than 9 airbags. A test vehicle was fitted with some added assistant features as part of a $6,900 option pack that also included super duper LED headlights and a banging Burmester sound system. Playing it loud will keep you awake.
With a 15mm longer wheelbase, the new GLC 300 releases more rear seat passenger space than its predecessor. But sit a tall passenger behind a tall driver and there's still not sprawling space back here. And it's also noticeable the way the headrest kind of gets in your face that it feels a bit claustrophobic.
The rear seat passenger isn't going to feel especially loved in terms of features either. Yep, there's decent storage thanks to door bins and map pockets. You get adjustable aircon vents but no temperature controls, and where are the USB-Cs?
Thanks to that added overall length, the new GLC has an extra 60 litres of stowage space in the boot, which makes it pretty generous, but it also has some really nice detail touches as well. There's a security blind, D-rings to help you secure your luggage, some nice detailed storage areas for smaller items, and even remote flip folding of the rear seats.
But most of all, I appreciate this under the floor, the spare tyre. Sure, it's only a space saver, but at least it's better than nothing. And let me tell you, from bitter recent experience driving on our increasingly crap roads, having nothing guarantees you're stuck waiting for the flat top when the side's been ripped out of your sexy low profile tyres by a pothole. And then your car is off the road for days while you wait for a replacement tyre to be shipped out.
Okay, well that's enough of my trauma. Let's hit the road in the GLC 300 and see what we find. It's nice to drive a car that's, well, nicely tuned, not just a bucket of parts. It's the sum of its parts overlaid with care and expertise. The engine is smooth and strong, given the double boost of an electric motor and turbocharging. There's maybe a bit of tip-in throttle hesitation here and there, and the fake engine note sort of is great until you realise it's fake, but those are minor deals. This is an engine and transmission that specialises in civility. There's 9 gears churning away down there and you don't really notice them unless you stick it in sport mode or start operating the manual flappy paddles. The best part of the Dynamics package is probably the steering. Yes, there's grip and poise here from the body, but that electromechanical speed-dependent system provides light and pliable steering at low speeds and weights up and provides more certainty at higher speeds. It's really excellent. The weak part of the Dynamic package, by contrast, is the ride comfort. It's never wincing, but there are jolts and a constant underlying patter. I'd really like to try this vehicle on a less aggressive tyre and wheel combination, say 18s or something like that rather than 20s. Then maybe that would subdue some of the ride inputs. Look, this car's really only rolling on 20s because it looks good on them. And speaking of those tyres, it would be a travesty to spend $100,000 on a car like this and find it's noisy inside. It's not. The GLC is hushed. Even those big tyres, when they're rolling on coarse surfaces, don't transmit much noise. Again, a job well done.
Benz claims 7.7 litres per 100 kilometres fuel consumed by the GLC 300. Well, our test loop returned 9.4 litres per 100 kilometres. That's nothing special these days. It also uses more expensive 95 RON fuel. Overall, the driving experience for this car is positive. It's the way everything gels together that is most pleasing. We'll just make a passing mention of off-roading because this vehicle has an off-road mode and even an off-road camera to show you what's going on under the car at slow speeds. But there are no long-range modes, and the standard ground clearance and tyres mean you would run out of traction very quickly. Stick to gravel and snow roads.
So yeah, after spending some time living with the new GLC 300, I reckon it does deserve a bit more love from the luxury SUV buying public. Hey, I just respect a car that does what you ask it to do. It's got well sorted intuitive tech and it drives agreeably. Maybe it's not a big enough step forward from the old GLC to win over new customers, or maybe if you're not a Benz fan in the first place, it just doesn't do it for you. Or maybe it's just the expense of the car. In these economically tough times, that's got to be a big factor. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos, and don't forget to tell us what you think in the comments below.